各位朋友，大家好。
Hello, everyone.
最后的一天。
Today is the last day of the teaching.
讲的是最后的这个宿舍的部分嘛，是吧？所以
So we'll be talking about the last part of the teaching of the liturgy.
他就这个发问了一些事情。
In the last few days, some of the Dharma friends here have a couple of questions to ask. So the question is on the line on page 23 at the navel upon the sun disk. So there was a question on how to visualize the part when we invite all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas here. There was a question like this. So the question is not on page 23, but the earlier part. So over here, it did not describe how the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas looked like. But from my understanding, when we're visualizing, usually, for instance, if we visualize the longevity Buddha, so while this long life Buddha embodies all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, but in the form, he appears as the long life Buddha. Sometimes also when we're doing this visualization, we might visualize the physical form of their bodies dissolving into us, or sometimes we might visualize their speech as in mantras dissolving into us, or sometimes we visualize them as holding onto some Dharma instruments and dissolving into us. But for me, I feel that, well, I cannot be sure how to visualize, but what I believe is that usually for practitioners, whatever Buddha or Bodhisattva that has a greater influence on us, we can visualize that form. That is nothing wrong about doing it that way. For instance, the five Buddhas represent the five wisdoms. We can also visualize inviting the five Buddhas and they dissolve into our body. We can also visualize in this way. In fact, when we visualize our body, we are visualizing ourselves in the form of the Guru. So when we visualize the Buddhas dissolving into us, we can also do it this way. By the way, the question is based on page 8, the line on page 8. Now we go on to another question. Another Dharma friend asked, while we are practicing the Guru Yoga, how do we practice the Prana Nadi Bindu? That is, how do we use the energy within us and be able to develop our wisdom better? So for me, I don't do that practice, so I don't have much understanding in that. Next time, at our center, or the disciples of Garchen Rinpoche, those who are closer to Garchen Rinpoche, you can request the teaching from Garchen Rinpoche. That'll be more appropriate. So if we base it on what I think is right, it might not be appropriate. And it might not be that great of a benefit to us. So now when we look at the lines on page 23,
业脑罪障习气净
23 and 24. At the navel upon the sun, this is the mantra garland revolving clockwise. From it, the light of emptiness and compassion radiates, makes offerings to the Buddhas, and purifies the karmas, afflictions, negativities, and habitual tendencies of sentient beings. Think that the universe and beings become a field of all-embracing purity. So at our navel, we visualize a sun disk, and upon it is a mantra garland, a white mantra garland, and that mantra garland is revolving. And while it revolves, then it radiates the light of loving kindness, compassion, and wisdom. And this light is an offering to all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and it also benefits all sentient beings. In actual fact, when we visualize the rotating of the mantra garland, it is really the movement of energy. When we talk about Prananadi Bindu, it is really about movement. We look at it from the movement perspective. So when your visualization is focused, it will actually be able to realize the wisdom energy. Then our innate wisdom on emptiness and also our loving kindness, compassion can be developed. I believe it should be like that. But if it is through Guru Yoga to practice the Prananadi Bindu, for myself, I haven't practiced that practice. So I'm not able to say anything much about that practice or the meaning of it. But in the process of this practice, it will affect our Prananadi and Bindu. For instance, we visualize this visualization at our navel and the rotating of the mantra garland. It will affect our Prananadi and Bindu. Then it will be able to raise or increase our emptiness, wisdom of emptiness, as well as our compassion. Because emptiness and so because our wisdom is actually the union of clarity and emptiness. So I can't really be sure about that. But for today, we are visualizing the dissolution. On page 26, at the end, the universe and beings melt into light and dissolves into the Guru. The Guru transforms into a 5-colored orb. And dissolving into my heart, our minds merge. Look at the indivisible nature of the Guru and your own mind. So when we visualize the dissolution stage, firstly, all of the external phenomena as well as the internal phenomena dissolve into the Guru that our mind has visualized. So they all dissolve into the Guru. Now, this Guru that we've visualized transforms into a 5-colored orb. And in the end, this 5-colored orb dissolves into our heart, and then our minds merge together with the Guru. So this 5-colored orb dissolves into our mind. And over here, when we think of the dissolving, first, when we visualize, there is no discrimination between self and other. So in the end, when we visualize the dissolution into our heart, there is a thing into which one dissolves, and something to dissolve. So sometimes when we talk about the mind, we imagine it to be the heart organ within our body. But when we talk about heart, heart actually means something important, like a core. And the core is actually emptiness. So in the end, we can understand it in this way. For instance, all that we have visualized comes from where? It comes from the union of emptiness and clarity within our mind. That is why or how these things can be visualized. So it is almost like a game. It's like a big game. So that is how our guru is visualized, or how the guru appears. So for ordinary beings, when we think of our guru, or when we miss our guru, what do we do? At that moment, that thought of thinking of the guru, if you don't think that the guru and I is separate, then in that moment, you visualize the form of guru. And from the guru's navel chakra, there is the sun disk, and then there's the mantra garland. We visualize all of that, so we can train our bodhicitta like that. It'll be able to develop our mindfulness. That is all part of the practice of mind training. So for every practitioner, there'll be differences in terms of their practice levels. There are those who are very, very highly accomplished. For them, they don't need to create the idea of the radiation of the light or the dissolution of the light. But for us who have some kind of dualism, who still think of the self and the other, then of course it's a light that radiates and that dissolves into us. So in the end, at the dissolution stage, in our mind, we will think of I. So it's like dissolving into my heart. That guru must dissolve into my heart. So from here you can see, once the guru dissolves into my heart, at that moment, that thought is your mind. So that the emptiness and clarity of your mind and the emptiness and clarity of the guru, they are inseparable. They are together as one. So there's no separation. It's not, oh, within my heart I hold the guru. It's not like that. So our mind's emptiness and clarity, the essence of that is inseparable from the emptiness and clarity of the guru's mind. And so we rest in that state. That is the meaning of this line.
So
over here, that's also Guru's Rinpoche's teaching, and that is very important, and that is on page 28. Know that the Guru is the inherent condition of mindful awareness. So our own mindful awareness is our mindfulness. Once we are mindful, we are aware. This awareness, its nature is the Guru. So we've got to know this very clearly. That is, our mind is the Guru. Sustain a continuity of mindfulness, which is the essence of the Guru. That's the next line. So over here, what Rinpoche had been repeatedly emphasizing is that we have got to sustain our mindfulness continuously. Once we are able to sustain our mindfulness, then we wouldn't be able to sustain this practice. without mindfulness, we wouldn't be able to sustain our practice. So maybe 1-2 minutes, or maybe just a couple of minutes, we're able to rest within emptiness and clarity. But with mindfulness, if we have that,
杂念会产生的，是不是？所以这个就没有把握住。
then if we don't have mindfulness, then what happens is that all kinds of discursive thoughts might arise. So we've got to sustain a continuity of mindfulness.
最后的是这个我们回向。
Following that is dedication. So yesterday we have we've talked a little bit about dedication in the 7-limb prayer. So I've already touched on dedication, the importance of dedication. So on page 29, by this virtue may I swiftly accomplish the glorious Guru. And the next, and may all sentient beings without exception be established in that state. So that's the meaning of these lines. So when we dedicate, it is the same as saying that all of the merit that we have accomplished, including through the practice of the Guru Yoga, we dedicate it to all mother sentient beings, so that they'll all be able to attain Buddhahood, which is the state of the Guru. And at this point, we, our Guru, and Buddha, the three jewels, we are all inseparable. So that is the dedication part.
这个里面呢，就是也是提到过这个当时。
But here it had been mentioned that at that time, when we requested Garchen Rinpoche for the oral transmission, so we have asked Garchen Rinpoche, and Garchen Rinpoche said that even without an oral transmission, you can do this practice as long as you have bodhicitta. So there is a teaching like that here. So what this means is, it shows Rinpoche's compassion. His compassion and wisdom. So it is in that it pervades the mind stream of all sentient beings. So we can understand it in this way.
所以还有这个下面呢，有一个什么呢？
And on the following page, on another page, there is a mantra that Rinpoche just said on page 25. So there's a meaning that talks about how one is not separate from the Guru. So what Garchen Rinpoche said, that for different sentient beings, he or she may have his or her own Guru. So some of the people may not know the mantra of their own Guru. So this mantra can represent the mantra of all Gurus. So this is a very precious mantra on page 25. And there is also this mantra that Rinpoche recited, which is the mantra of the White Tara. So from the start to the end of this liturgy, I would also recite this mantra. Having the opportunity to learn this is really precious. So the White Tara mantra is on page 40. So for today, we have this opportunity to learn together Garchen Rinpoche's Guru Yoga. From my perspective, the practice of Guru Yoga the most important thing is we have to have faith in our Guru. That is extremely important. Without faith in our Guru, and you're just reciting the words only, like just reciting these few mantras, of course you cannot say that it is ineffective. It will have its own effect. However, the most essential thing is we must have faith in our Guru. With faith, then we will have confidence in the Guru. And with the strength of this confidence, then we'll be able to learn from the Guru. In actual fact, the Guru Yoga is just the name of a kind of method in Vajrayana. In my perspective, Guru Yoga actually means that we have got to learn at every moment the Guru's body, speech, and mind. If we're able to understand that, then that can change our mind stream, the state of our mind. So over here, sometimes we might think, oh, we supplicate to the Guru. What kind of blessings can we get from the Guru? So in essence, what exactly are blessings? Of course, there are many different symbols of blessings. For instance, when I see the Guru, I feel tremendous joy within myself. Or sometimes I might feel like I want to cry, or even tears would flow. Or sometimes one might say, I see light. So it's not that these are no good. These are just expressions of our connection with our Guru. But in essence, Garchen Rinpoche's teaching at the end, what it means, what is important here is that we've got to maintain our mindfulness at every moment. Once we're able to maintain that mindfulness at that moment, the mind's emptiness and clarity is inseparable from the Guru. So although, physically speaking, our bodies are separate, but our minds are never separate. Our minds are always together. Be it within this lifetime or the next lifetime, every single lifetime, our minds are not separate from our Guru. That's how I think. So in the past couple of days, we have this opportunity to learn together. It's because of Yinfen at Drikung Seattle Center and all of the members of Drikung Seattle who are at the center right now. You have been working hard behind the scenes. You've been setting up the webinar rooms, streaming on Facebook and YouTube, etc. You have put in a lot of hard work, and therefore I'm expressing my gratitude and thanks to all of you. And during this teaching, it's really easy for me because I feel that it is only 30-minute teaching, and so I don't feel like it's very tiring. And I have learned a lot through the questions that you've asked me. And also, my reviewing this text over and over again, this liturgy over and over again for myself, I also feel that I'm able to practice it together with my mind. And it has really inspired me. It has inspired me more, and therefore, I'd like to thank all of the Dharma friends here. So there's the teaching in, there is the English translation, maybe there's Tibetan translation, and translations in other languages. It must have also been tough on them, so I'd like to thank all of them as well. At the start, I've also made it clear that that I'm not really giving some kind of teaching or not really talking about any sutra whatsoever. In the past couple of days, what I made clear is that I am Garchen Rinpoche's disciple, and so is everybody else. So this is like some kind of a sharing amongst disciples, amongst Garchen Rinpoche's disciples. So I feel that in future, that the center can do more of this in order to learn more together. So over here, I'd like to share a suggestion of mine. For instance, now we have Garchen Rinpoche's Guru Yoga here, and the liturgy is not very long, it's kind of short. So if the center is able to do so, perhaps you can recite everything from the start to the end. You don't have to make any explanations because of the lack of time. So just recite it. Maybe just 2 to 3 minutes to recite it. So if you have a recording like this, the recitation of the liturgy, and you can share that recording, then that'll be really beneficial to us disciples. So I feel that if we can practice in this way, then if the Dharma friends here have any questions, then you can send it to the center, the Drikung Seattle Center, and the center can consolidate these questions. Then sometimes, when Garchen Rinpoche is resting, then some of these questions, some important questions, we can ask the Rinpoche while Rinpoche is still here with us, so that we can make everything more complete, make the Dharma teaching more complete. So for instance, today, I was asked a very good question. Through the teaching of Guru Yoga, how can we practice the Prananadi Mintu? How do we clear the channels within us so that and develop our wisdom? And so that is a very profound teaching. And so I'm not able to answer the question. So I can only answer it through some guesses. So it will be good if we can ask the question, ask Rinpoche, Garchen Rinpoche the question, and that way it will be very beneficial. So from my perspective, I feel that when Rinpoche had explained that we are disciples, and when Rinpoche wrote this, so he wrote about Gawe Guru. So he wrote that. At that time, Rinpoche said, Rinpoche taught in a way like he's talking, but then over here it is written out as verses. So Rinpoche's teachings are very clear. So through the use of WeChat, for instance, we can ask Gawe Guru to give us a teaching in Tibetan. I would be the first to sign up for that teaching. I would like to listen to that teaching again. So this is really precious teaching. Because when I was asked to teach this text, this liturgy, I said, oh, I don't have the text. And then they sent it to me, and then I read through it. I read through it really conscientiously, and I feel that the content is really profound and deep. And I myself have not received the oral transmission for this, and so I didn't really have the guts to talk about this. So I asked Garchen Rinpoche if he'd allow me to talk about this text. And so if Garchen Rinpoche allows me to do so, then I requested that from Garchen Rinpoche. And so it is based on that context that we had the past couple of days of sharing. So although we have exceeded the time a little bit, but because today is the last day, so I'd like to dedicate whatever little merit that I have garnered through this sharing, and I dedicate it to Garchen Rinpoche so that he'll live long and continue to turn the wheel of the Dharma. And also, all of the merit that we've garnered in this practice together are dedicated to all of our mother sentient beings, all of our parents, and may all be free from suffering, and that all kinds of disasters end quickly, so that we would have a better environment to practice. And I wish that all the Dharma friends here are healthy and happy, and to continue to train your mind. Today, we have this opportunity to practice this Guru Yoga. I myself will be practicing this practice frequently. So I hope that all of you here will also take this as a frequent practice of yours. Thank you all, and may all of your wishes come true. Chashi Delek. So we have completed the teaching on the Guru Yoga and this profound teaching. I cannot express in words the gratitude that I have, towards Rinpoche. Rinpoche, please take care of your health, and may you live for hundreds of years and continue to turn the wheel of the Dharma. I've truly benefited from the teaching. There are thousands of people who have listened in to this teaching, and so it has benefited many people. Thank you, Rinpoche.
Michelle 还有所有的翻译。
Thank you, all translators. Thank you, all translators, for having done a great job in translating and benefiting so many sentient beings. And thank you, Dawa, helping Nubpa Rinpoche. Thank you, Dawa, for helping Rinpoche with the technology and all that. And thank you, Jeffrey, Ben, and Weisung, all of the behind-the-scenes work. And thank you, all participants who are present. I strongly believe that Rinpoche's teaching this time will be extremely beneficial for us in our practice of the Guru Yoga. And I do hope that Rinpoche will continue to teach us the Dharma for sentient beings. Please take care of yourself, Rinpoche. Please live long.
不是动不动嘛，现在是，那我们可以先。
再次感谢仁波切，我代表大家谢仁波切。
I'd like to represent everyone to express the sincerest thanks to Rinpoche.